If you're a fan of rap or hip-hop, you've undoubtedly at one point heard of Marshall Mathers, better known by his stage name, Eminem, or as some like to refer to him by his alter ego, Slim Shady. What you may know is that there is a more sinister origin to Slim Shady. It all started when Marshall was a kid living in the center of a crime-ridden neighborhood of Warren in Detroit, Michigan. Being one of the few white kids in a predominantly black neighborhood, Eminem was constantly bullied and beat up at school. When Eminem began high school, there were only 2 or 3 other white kids. One of them was a tough, highly respected sophomore. The kid's name was Clarence Everett, but was called Slim Shady by most students because of his physique, short temper, psychopathic tendencies, sadistic and warped sense of humor, and untrustworthiness. Slim Shady was one of the school's most dominating bullies and gained the respect of almost every student. Eminem and Slim Shady were nothing alike aside from being white and their interest in hip-hop. Slim Shady took young Marshall Mathers under his wing and introduced him to a world of drugs, crime, and other partying. During one of these parties, Eminem met his future wife, Kimberly Ann Scott. As time went by, Slim's negative influence of Marshall started affecting his grades. Shady told Marshall that his goal in life was to one day get to see the world through his eyes. Slim had been involved with a devastating breakup shortly before meeting Marshall and had a new negative insight on women, believing them to be sluts and whores only good for sex. Slim taught Marshall how to stand up for himself, how to fight, and how to kill. After a night of partying, Eminem and a drunken Shady ran into a local drug dealer who Shady owed money to. When the drug dealer continued to harass him and threatened to attack, Slim pulled out a switchblade knife and lunged at the dealer, stabbing him in his left thigh. Slim brought the drug dealer down before repeatedly stabbing him in the stomach, ribcage, and chest, while the dealer tried to use his hands to defend himself, only to be stabbed there as well. After stabbing the dealer in the side of the neck, Slim and Eminem fled the area, leaving the dealer lying in a pool of blood. The dealer was found and taken to a hospital where he died. Following the brutal murder, Slim made Marshall promise not to tell. Fearing his life, Marshall agreed. Slim soon afterwards began stalking him and became increasingly paranoid and suspicious. One day after being pulled over for not stopping at a red light, Eminem, consumed by guilt, began to confess. Slim Shady, who had been secretly following him, sneaked up behind the officer and slit his throat and grabbed his gun. Eminem had jumped back into his car and sped off upon seeing Shady. Shady stole the dead officer's car and chased after Marshall. Only wanting to escape, Eminem swerved off the road and flipped. The chase continued on foot and Marshall hid in the abandoned warehouse. Grabbing a crowbar, Eminem waited for Shady to come in. Jumping Shady from behind, Eminem wrestled the gun out of his hand and pointed it at him. Shady pleaded with Eminem not to kill him, but Eminem replied, "Go to hell!" before pulling the trigger, shooting Shady in the chest, killing him instantly, but things were far from over. Slim Shady's soul was condemned to hell, where the devil was impressed with the evil deeds he had committed on earth. Satan granted Slim Shady the power to possess Eminem at certain periods of time, and promised him a high-ranking position in the ranks of hell. Slim eagerly agreed. Meanwhile, Eminem had put the killing behind him and began focusing more and more on becoming a famous rapper. He slowly gained the attention and approval of underground hip-hop audiences. After the release of his debut album, Infinite, which gained him more attention, Slim Shady took advantage of the opportunity and possessed Marshall for the first time. Slim Shady recreated his own version of the possession on the album that gained Eminem the attention of major record labels, the Slim Shady EP. If you're an Eminem fan, then you know what happens next. Eminem releases the Slim Shady LP and leads a successful career, attempting to kill Slim Shady multiple times during the duration of his career, but failing each time. Here's the funny part. He'd been brainwashed. Slim Shady's clever lyrics are used to distract the listener from subliminal messages he uses to control his sheep. Slim Shady even makes fun of the fact in several songs. In the real Slim Shady, he states, "Feminist women love Eminem, chicka chicka Slim Shady. I'm sick of him, look at him, walking around, grabbing his you-know-what, flipping the you-know, oh yeah, but he's so cute though." In the first verse of Till I Collapse, he says, "Subliminal thoughts, when I'm gonna stop sending them. Cold wind blows. Shorty dance while I diss you to the beat. Fuck the words, you don't listen to them anyway. Yeah, struck a nerve. The list goes on and on. But you may ask yourself, why would Eminem brainwash us? It's not Eminem, it's Slim Shady, behind the curtain. His reason for doing so? He always did want to get the world to see things through his eyes. Sit down beside her like a spider, hide that girl you might have heard of me before, see her, you're the kind of girl that I